And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from that break. We're about to move into round number 4 here at the North American Regional Championships. My name is Will Hall, better known on the internet as the Will Hall EXP, and I'm joined in the booth by my friend, Big Z, Matej Zelekai himself. What are you thinking so far, my friend? We've seen 3 rounds of Magic, lots of Magic in the booth, but some amazing games, right?
I mean, good games. People might be complaining about, getting toxic against Azorius all the time, but the games are great. Like, we can't really lie, right? I'm really enjoying myself.
No, there's been some amazing games of Magic, very back and forth, making me sit on the edge of my seat, hopefully making everybody at home sit on the edge of the seat. And we are not going to stop here as we move into round number 4. So what decks are we going to see in our feature match this round, Matej?
I think we're going to see 4-color or 5-color legends on one side of the board in the hands of CFT Sock, aka Ray Zhang, just straight off the Pro Tour top 8. Right, the Pro Tour Outlaws at Thunder Junction with the same deck. I mean, he's one of the people who really innovated in Standard over the last few months. Introducing us to Slowgurk and now evolving the deck into what it is today. And then we also have on the other side of the board, Esper Midrange and Johnny Perigo, I think is how it's pronounced, and just a classic Esper Midrange deck. So.
All right, sweet. Well, let's get down to the feature match as I pick us a winner for our giveaway. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we've just picked ourselves a winner. If you see your name in chat, congratulations. You've just won yourself a voucher for Heavy Play, today's sponsor. If you do not see your name, well, start typing the word rigged in chat. And, because we picked all the winners beforehand. And now back to the match. So as you said, we've got Ray versus Johnny. Esper Midrange, 4-color legends. Are we just going to see a lot of land go in the first couple of turns?
Hopefully not. I'm hoping we're going to see some creatures and some swings. I mean, this matchup can be really swingy for either side, but the good thing for Ray is that they've won the die roll, and so that's already a huge advantage. But no turn 2 play from Ray. Let's see what turn 3 brings up.
All right, it's just little bit. We're just setting up a little bit. We're going to see a No More Lies. That's going to get that into the exile zone. So many zones currently in Standard, right? We've got plot zones, exile zones, graveyard zones, on an adventure zones. There's just so much going on that we got to keep track of here in the booth. So, any help that you want to give us, feel free, Twitch chat. We do appreciate you all being here and enjoying this amazing game that we've got. And hopefully this is going to be a good match moving forward. But as I said, it's just a lot of land go. Yeah, land go. What could we be representing here?
Oh, and then Mastermind here. So some action for Johnny here.
Invitational card. Love to see it.
I believe it's due to Takahashi, who actually has eliminated Ray in the Pro Tour top 8.
Bittersweet. Now getting beaten down on the other side, but doesn't look like it's going to stick around for much longer, especially if this resolves. We're going to go for the destroy ability here, which means we would get a card deeper here for Johnny on the right of his screen. Sides does want to go a card deeper. We're happy for that to resolve. Now got access to all our mana, knowing that the shields are down over on Ray's side. Deep in the tank.
Lots of options. I mean, not many cards have been played, and there's a Shieldred right away.
That's a good one. It's a good one. This to get on the battlefield early. Only a one of in the main scene. If there's any in the side note, it's just one in the full 75 here. Of course, whenever we draw a card, we're going to gain 2 life. When our opponent draws a card, they are going to lose 2 life. Do you one thing that I get jealous of for the American RCs? These little badges that everybody gets. You get a badge and it tells you where you qualify for. It's so cool.
It's kind of it's quite cute. Like these pins, right? Like you can also put them on your shirt, right? And you can represent your local store, and it's a nice kind of keepsake.
All right, Deep Cavern Bat's going to come down. Of course, to go for the throat was able to deal with the Shieldred. Deep Cavern Bats are going to look at the hand, put 1 underneath it, so we can't cast that while the bat's on the battlefield. It's going to be a go for the not a go for the throat. It's going to be a go blank cut down. How many more cards can I name in one go?
Yeah, you dug deep with the go blank there.
Good. I was playing a bit of I had a Pioneer F&M, you see, and I got absolutely hosed by that card quite a bit yesterday.
Yeah, let's see.
3 mana, maybe. What's the engines in these 4-color Legends deck?
I mean, Inti is an engine in and of itself, but mainly much better with Rona, right? That's like a great value engine. But then all the channel lands, especially Takenuma, can do a lot of work in tandem with Slowgurk, of course. That's the kind of like a namesake of this deck. Even a lot of people call these decks like 4-color, 5-color Slowgurk. So,
and are we passing the turn, not deploying the NT? Is there any reason behind that?
It looks that way. And now, go for the target's Titania, but using the mana thanks to the Relic of Legends, Plaza of Heroes is able to protect the Titania. I think Ray wants to keep it on the board because it's quite good against the bat, while also providing a nice creature with reach against like Rafine as well, right? You gain a lot more time by being able to block.
Okay, makes sense. So didn't get a good look at what the card drawn for the turn was. But we're going to start off with this NT. Is it going to resolve? It looks like it does. That's okay. So if it resolves, what sort of cards do we need to play around in this spot?
One Ring Emperor probably would be top of mind. It's just a one of though from John in Johnny's deck. So maybe not quite a card you have or want to have to play around. But Johnny doesn't really have a really good board here, so
yeah, kind of able to establish. We've not really done much over on Johnny's side. Also, it's got to have something in hand to at least be staying in this game. And now we're going to go to combat, and he's going to trigger. So discard a card, draw a card, or put a card into exile. Sorry, and move a counter across if needs be.
Yeah, NT is 2 separate triggers, right? There's one trigger when you attack. You can discard a card that if you do it, you put a +1/+1 counter on an attacking creature, and the other one is also whenever you discard a card, you can exile the top card of your library. You can play until the end of your turn.
Here's Wandering Emperor, just as you said, and it's going to come down.
But it should be on one. Here. It should go on to one.
No,
one.
We made a block. We made a 2/2
blocker. Okay, we just traded. That's nice. That one by a bit too fast while I was trying to figure out exactly how to deal with NT. But I think no card was discarded, right, to NT either.
Nope. So no +1/+1 counters were generated. Another Samurai is now going to be made. 2/2 Vigilance.
Yeah, maybe Ray was a little bit more aware of something like Tidebinder. That maybe that's why they didn't want to discard a card.
Looks like no one's really pulling the trigger right now. Okay, we're going to fire off this countdown. Double land in hand plus a redundant NT. So kind of we're going to be all right for this one to happen. But do we want to do any shenanigans in the meanwhile? We've obviously a lot of the channel lands in these decks, and we kind of utilize them for a lot of value.
Yeah, but there's also Anchorage now hiding among the lands for Johnny. I think he could also like put a +1/+1 counter on it if he wanted to on his turn, but he has now an NT to deal with.
Didn't get a good look at those. I think we just got a Swamp plus Unknown in hand.
Virtue? No, another bat. Interesting. Yep. Okay.
Can't take anything. There's an upside and a downside to that. Upside is your opponent's got nothing. Downside is you don't get to exile a card.
Yeah, but I think Ray played it really well. Of like not really not playing the Dark Slick Shores as well, right? Like holding in hand to get more food for NT as well. But I think it also made Johnny think that maybe there's something else going on in that hand. So let's see.
So +1 counter plus first strike about to be added to.
Yeah, I would probably have animate Restless Anchorage and put the counter on there just so I could get in a free attack with the Anchorage, and then use the map, right?
Well, there's a Besagio in hand, remember?
True. Yeah, I mean that would have probably been activated anyway. But that was like top of my mind. But now together with the Inti, the Besagio also works wonders. The channel lands. Just the core of the deck, and when you get value like this, it's really nice.
Watch this. We're Johnny looking at the deck, knowing that I believe the swamp is in hand, so this is going to be able to gain a little bit of knowledge to rate if they're able to kind of pick up on this or not. So it doesn't find a card, presents it to shuffle or to be cut. I think that was just a little giggle between the players there saying, I'm going to choose not to find.
Yeah, that's one way you can get the Esper deck sometimes, where if a deck with Field of Ruins can really make life miserable for the Esper Midrange deck. Ooh, great draw there. The Takenuma is now going to, I think, really jumpstart whatever Ray will want to do in the game.
And you can see at the top of the screen the graveyard split into 3 different piles: creatures, lands, and spells, because they're all kind of relevant depending on how of what cards we have in play here.
Yeah, there was also exile, right? Like no more lights exiled
Yeah.
some cards at the beginning, so we have to be careful about those. Remember, there on the bottom of the screen, the Slogger was exiled thanks to Inti off of that Takenuma. So now we're going to play the Plaza that was exiled before. Now Slogger going to get play, and I think Ray is firmly getting control of this game.
Like, yeah, pulling
The
ahead.
Relic of Legends, again, do you see how much work it's doing for this deck? Right? Just being able to do so much more with your mana game after the game.
Yeah, it's really cool. It kind of looks like just like a bad card that you'd have in a draft deck or an EDH card. But, being able to find a real solid home, being a key piece in these 4-5 color Legends decks that we see popping up in Standard, and picking up great results as well. It's not just like the turn up, but they're picking up great results. But then on the other side, we're now, you've got one of your engines going. Well, I'm getting one of my engines going now in this, I forgot the name of it. It's dropped me. Remind me.
Rafine,
thank you. Jeez.
Yeah, the issue is that like to really get the most of the Rafine, you have to attack with a lot of creatures, and attacking into that Titania is not that great. And even and then attacking on the ground into a Slogurk, also not a great way to win the game.
Well, we can add another +1/+1 counter and first strike to a creature. Does that change any of the math here moving forward? Maybe we can get in with this. We've got a Vigilance 4/4 with first strike. Now we get a trigger. There's another Rafine in hand. We're going to ditch the swamp that was in hand.
Yeah, the 4/4 I think is just going to hit. Just a bit of lack of clarity about what's going on. Yeah. They're having a grand time, aren't they?
Yeah, a lot going back and forth. So, but still, at the end of the day, it's still just a couple of lands in hand, but there's a bunch of lands in the graveyard. These channel lands, we know that they can do some crazy stuff. As card discarded, +1/+1 counter is gonna.
It's gonna be 2 counters then, because the Darkslick Shores was discarded, right? So it's gonna be 1 from the Darkslick Shore, 1 from the Inti. The players are confirming that as well. I like that both Ray and Johnny are being very communicative and being very clear about what's going on.
And then
so
is that Cavern off the top?
Yeah, it's Caverns of Souls exiled, so Ray will be able to play if they choose so.
I do love that Cavern of Souls is got had a reprint brought into Standard, into Pioneer, etc. And the fact it's turning up a lot, like especially there's like some the European regional championships. There was 4-5 color Legends decks, but there were 4 color human Legend decks, and you were able to play the full 4 copies of Cavern of Souls. And in a meta full of a lot of blue-white control, we're really able to utilize that to its full effect. This we're going to go for a big block here. 3 creatures blocking.
Yeah, it looks that way. It's a 5/5 Slogurk.
Because one of these creatures can die from the other side over on Ray's side. It's got the ability to flash in and destroy a creature.
Yeah, that's why it seems quite risky. I wonder what Johnny's planning here. Yeah, and then there's also, I think, the Plaza of Heroes as well.
Yeah, and the Plaza, you're right. Yeah, the Plaza, got to not forget that. And
to hexproof indestructible from the Plaza. So, but looks like Ray's going to go for the Airtight first. Okay,
Airtight recruited.
Okay, and now deal 5 to the rest.
Oh, that didn't look great.
I didn't like that at all. And there's still, like, with Airtight resolving, there was also still enough mana to use the Plaza of Heroes as well.
Were we just in a spot there where, like, we needed to get lucky and hit something? And, like, it's like if we don't, we're going to lose the game anyway. If we do hit something, then I'm able to potentially try and pull back in this game 1.
Yeah, I think Johnny was really far behind anyway. Like maybe he wanted to try to get Ray to make a mistake or something similar.
I think we got land. What's that blue spell? Is it maybe it's another?
Uh-huh. Cavern on Ooze, by the way.
It's Cavern on Ooze. Love
Yeah,
it.
because Slogurg is an ooze.
Why wouldn't Slowgurg be an ooze of all creature types? What did I like? The Gitrog is like a horror mount frog or something, or horror mount frog or something like that. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. So now minus the
More
okay.
triggers.
So yeah, minus the Emperor to target Slogurg. In response, tap 3 creatures for mana. I thought we were about to see activation of the Plaza, but no, it's the cycling of the Zeotor's Proving Ground, and then using the ability of Slogurg to bounce it to raise hand, return 3 lands. So it's Seiju, Otawara, even Takenuma. Yep.
So you say lands. I see 3 spells just
Yeah,
went back to hand.
basically. Yeah. I think this game's over. Another Rafine is not going to change that, especially Titania did so much work this game, but being able to be not just gaining some extra life here and there, but the blocker was absolutely essential.
You might see, it might be a Fey Mastermind in hand as well. I don't think that does too much here. I do like seeing 4 copies of Wedding Announcement in the deck, but obviously we're not drawing them. That's a really good card in these kind of mid-range grindy matchups, being able to present a board plus draw us cards.
Would have been so much better in like the early mid game as well, where he was building up the board, and then he had the Rafine turn where he couldn't really attack just because he didn't have enough creatures or they were too small.
Okay, it was
so now attacking with the Earth type, but still NT triggering. So discarding another Dark Slick Shores. It's going to make the Air type 4/3. Now, all the triggers have to be
sequenced
sequenced properly and spelled out. Yeah, and I think Ray is doing a great job of explaining that. Yep. Emperor down because 4/3 Trampler, not something Johnny can deal with. Now we're going to see Rona, which again is really good in this sort of deck.
So many triggers. It's such a grindy matchup. It's like we're taking so many game actions to just be able to, gain so much more advantage every single time we take one. It's like one thing happens, triggers another one, triggers another one, triggers another one, and then we recur it all back and we just go again and again. And all this is just going to be resulting in Ray being able to take down game number 1. There is no big sweepers here for Johnny on the right of the screen. There is no Sunfalls. There is no Farewells. And that's going to be enough for us to scoop it up and go into game number 2, which, of course, is an open deck list tournament. So we get to look at their deck list just like the players do as well. So starting on Ray's side, game up. This is the sideboard. Anything take your fancy?
I'm glad you didn't ask me how Ray is going to sideboard, because I really don't want to say the wrong thing and get chastised just because I really don't have that much experience with this particular deck. I imagine we're definitely going to see a long goodbye because it's a good way to deal with Rafine. The one thing I did want to point out that's been like a recent introduction is Plan the Heist in the sideboard. It's a 4 mana draw 3 effect, but it also has plot. It's been a really interesting addition to this deck, and we've seen it in Decklist Online for a few weeks, and especially in those grindy matchups can really pull its weight. But I don't expect to see it here, but we'll see. Let's head on over to
Johnny's list.
Yeah, Johnny's list. He might have a few options here. Okay, he has some Tidebinders that I imagine are going to come in for sure.
Rest in peace.
Maybe Rest in Peace. It's a bit tricky. Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it's not that great. But he like the way he wants to play out the game is to really put on the early pressure and then disrupt.
Okay.
Rest in Peace. Sometimes it's just not good enough, like as a disruption piece. So it can be up and down. I would be quite wary of boarding in all 3 copies of that card because it can just slow you down and yeah. So we'll see. Also, this in particular, the Wedding Announcements can be quite slow in this sort of matchups. I haven't liked Esper with Wedding Announcement, but last weekend two of the winners were playing Esper Midrange with 4 Wedding Announcements. So what do I know?
All right, well, let's get back down to the matchup going into game number 2. Ray versus Johnny, 4 Color Legends versus Esper Midrange. Esper Midrange on the play. Still no early, interaction, getting things about. It looks like a bunch of land in hand, really. Go for the Throat is our 2-drop or a 2 mana spell of currently, if Ray does deploy something, there's a target. We can take that. We'll bite that off if it's going to go to the graveyard.
Yeah, go for the throw on the Rona is an absolute must. You really don't want to see something like a Honest Rotstein there, but I think Ray has 2 more Ronas in their hand. But also Takenuma, which is good.
Yeah, we're going to play it. That's fine. It's going to resolve, and no play there. I think we've got 2 Tiebinders in hand.
Yeah.
Again, more land go.
Johnny does have 2 Tiebinders. Okay, so Boseiju on the Restless Anchorage, and this is brutal. I think this is going to force Jonathan to use the Tidebinder to protect his blue source. Yeah, he's thinking, but he knows he can see it. Now he realizes he has to Tidebinder it because he only plays a basic swamp, doesn't have an island, and so that would mean that he wouldn't get to play the Tidebinder on the Rona when it's activated. So, as you can see, this is how you get Esper. I was calling it out in the previous game as well.
It's also, a way of getting the shields down on the other side. So potentially on this turn, we can deploy one of our more powerful 3 or 4 mana spells to kind of start pulling away. It's pretty cool, pretty heads up sequence here from Ray on left. This is exactly how you get yourself into a Pro Tour top 8, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
These little small plays all add up to big victories. But what is the play? Surely it's not going to be land pass. No, okay, cool. Yeah, of course, Ray knows that we're going to be untapping that Rona as well as another legendary enters the battlefield.
Yeah, I can see now the Boseiju on the Anchorage shields down, and now Ray can do whatever they want, and Slogan is just a really great play here. This is again a risky attack here, a little bit, right? Just because there could be easily just a block and activation of Rona. However, Ray also recognizes that Johnny could have another Tidebinder, for example, right? Or could have some other ways to, like an Emperor, right? Would also be disastrous here. So
that's what I was thinking. Like with this now being tapped, is this worth firing off the Emperor? Shields are down. We can get it off the battlefield.
Yeah, and now using the Tidebinder on the Slogger, so actually countering the ability of when a land is put into graveyard. That also makes the Slogger just a 3/3 with no abilities. Yeah, that's Tidebinded, no abilities. A nice paper to mark that.
Chat pointing out about obviously Boseiju gets a land of any basic type, but there are no lands of basic type besides the swamp in this 75. Very greedy on the mana base.
Yeah, he doesn't play Rafine's Tower. It's like something that remember that not all the lists run, and Johnny went for a list without a single Rafine's Tower. So
huge shout out to all the raiders jumping in. Mr. Gabriel Nassif, Yellow Hat himself. Hope you're good, my friend. Hope your stream went great. Appreciate you jumping in here to the regional championships of North America, where we've got over 1,200 players battling out in 9 rounds of standard action, and you're joining us in round number 4.
Ooh, look at that. A Deep Karen Bat reveals a hand of 2 Slogers. There's already a third one on the battlefield, however, with no abilities. And the Titania, I think, again, is going to be doing an incredible job of holding down the fort and giving Ray the time that they need.
Yeah, that 4 toughness is going to be key. Is it worth playing one into another just to get the one on the battlefield off the battlefield, so then you've got one active on the battlefield? Is that a line that you like? Or
yeah, it could be. Yeah, why not?
Layers upon layers. Boseiju drawn for the turn.
Yeah, Johnny did draw 2 blue sources in a row there with the Seachrome Coast and Dark Slickshores. Both were tapped though. So the any Boseijus on the Anchorage are not as impactful anymore.
In the tank, obviously we've got a redraw if we need to, but there is 3 mana open on the other side, so could be another Tidebinder potentially. We're going to activate it. No Tidebinder in response, so we get to draw a card, discard a card.
Ray's getting way too much value from that Rona here, which is not good for Johnny.
Is there ever a world where you actually flip the Rona? Like you never really see it.
It can happen, but it's very, very occasionally. Usually when you're trying to like winning the game, right? When you want to get a 5/5 trampler. Okay, so here's the slow Gurk. Okay, what's going on here?
Looks like we're casting it, and maybe the untap triggers on the stack.
No, I think what Ray's doing here is playing the slow Gurk, and then like with the legend rule, I would imagine that they're putting the slow Gurk with the abilities into the graveyard as part of the legend rules to get back 3 lands. Yeah, right. So untap first, right? Here, you can see that. So
just as you said, my friend.
Yeah, so getting back 2 Boseijus and Plaza, playing the Plaza, and this basically gets more fuel for Rona.
More fuel for Rona. We could also try and go, this is how greedy I am. I'm like, I could start picking off some of these lands on the other side of the battlefield. If I could just keep recurring this, go for the throat.
Okay, interesting.
But we can give it hexproof here, right?
Yeah, exactly. So 3 mana, yeah, just give it hexproof indestructible. The Plaza of Heroes is such a good land. And this deck, it's ridiculously good.
Especially when you can keep recurring it, but also really the MVP has got to be the Relic of Legends here, right? Like being able to tap all of our, like right now you think, I'm tapped out. No, I've actually still got mana left open. As we come across with both Tiebinders here, knowing that there's a 3/4 on the other side of the battlefield, is this saying, like, I'm getting Reeds of a Wonder and Emperor?
Yeah, so am I. And plazas are down, so yeah, it's like, I mean, I like that they're having a great time. Both are nodding, talking a lot. Yeah, there's the Emperor, so yeah, plus
counter, plus first strike, remember, getting added. So now we're going to tap 2 in response.
Yeah, but long goodbye. Yeah, I think Ray was sandbagging that for a bit. And again, Relic of Legends, doing such great work getting the necessary mana as well.
Still had ODs comes to mind.
And that also releases the slow Gurk.
Yep.
Gets its abilities back. Checking. I think Ray is thinking along your lines.
Let's go.
How many of those can I destroy?
How many can I destroy? How many can I get back? Can I do this multiple times over the next couple of turns? But so as not to get too greedy with it, Inti was found off this cycle from Rona. +1/+1 counter is going to be added, and then we get to untap for our turn. This deck looks so good every time I see it, I swear.
Yeah, but Will, I'm going to be honest with you, and sorry for the whammy. Like, you have no chance in playing this deck correctly.
Whoa, chat, come on.
Sorry, I know that came out of left field, but it's
so
just
brutal, but honest and right at the same time. It hurts, but I know it's true.
Glad you recognize that.
I would definitely have to get a few reps in with this deck, or at least never
few
play
reps
it on camera in front of you, because I would be missing triggers left, right, and center. But that still hurts. That cuts deep, chat. It cuts deep. Yeah, get the F's in chat with the 0-7s for me. Come on,
mate.
It hurts.
You said a few reps. I would say a few years.
Oh my word! Just following up. You're just kicking me while I'm on the floor now. We're meant to be friends. Oh my word! Okay, right. I understand where we're at.
I mean, you started it, right? You were taking a few digs at my only 2 proto top 8s. Don't try and
defend yourself now. Everybody knows that Matej Zakai is, this big bully. Everyone thinks he's this really nice guy that's good at Magic, but I know the truth, and it's now out there. You're bullying the Infect players.
All one of them, right?
All one of them, yeah.
Or is there like? Oh, there's dozens of you. Oh, to be fair though, Bantox is quite popular here. Sorry for like not talking about the game, but I think Ray is just going really through the motions here with generating such value with Slogger there. Inti, I think this is purely academic. Like, I can try to go through the motions and explain everything that's going on, but Ray's just 24 life. It's a really established board position. I think there's nothing really that Johnny can draw to, to just deal with this sort of thing. So yeah, now Ray is going to start going. Yeah, Ray is going to go start off in the line. Like, this is going to end up with like the moment where like finish him, right? Like the ultimate punishment and get all your lands and stuff.
Yeah, this is feeling a lot like your comment to me. Just an absolute brutal beatdown, really. But I love the fact that we're kind of using the it is kind of like strip mine at this point, right? Yeah, there's literally just one mana destroy your land, one mana destroy your land. But the best bit is we can start recurring these and almost try and go for like a flawless victory of you know, how many less permanents can my opponent have by the time I win this match. And now look, we can start return. Oh, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't and never should play this matchup because
there was a key moment now that I'm sure you missed, but I can explain for the audience.
Oh my word! Oh, 3 in a row. I'm gone.
Yeah, Ray basically was able to reveal off of Inti Takenuma to play it from exile, so to legend rule 1 back into the graveyard, so that they can keep the loop going with Slugger. Look at that! It's the Bosages are just coming on, and yeah. It's this is a look at that. It's like get it done, get it away, and it's especially with like Relic of Legends, right? It's generating so much mana together with like the Rona and whatnot, and yeah, Johnny has had enough.
Though. Yeah, it's scooping at me. There's only so much punishment you can take, just like our casting duo, as we head back to the booth as Ray takes that down. A nice 2-0 victory. We're going to head back to the booth, but production, can you tell me if we've got a giveaway this round or not? Like, I need to give the people what they think. Oh, okay, it's not this round. It's going to be next round. Sweet, happy with that. So we're going to play a video. We're going to have a short little break, and because that's going to be the end of round number 4, and then we're going to come back with round number 5 pretty quickly. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you shortly.